All right, Stacy Winters is with us, the founder of Omaha Food Lovers and local restaurant expert. Stacy, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. I love talking food.
Well,
I look forward to this every
favorite
quarter.
hobby.
Yeah, we have three guys here who probably eat their share of food and then some. So, Stacy, the Grow Omaha Eats brought to you by Cheer Athletics. Sarah Baker Hansen review this week was Winchester's Bar and Grill. What do you think of Winchester's?
Winchester's is really good. Sarah was spot on with her review. They're doing a lot of good comfort food there. Their burgers are really, really good, and they have some of the best specials. Like Tuesdays and Saturdays, you can get their cheeseburger and fries for like $6.99. I think you can't even get that fast food anymore. And this is, that burger with the perfectly melted cheese, the toasted bun. It is really, really good.
Craig, you and I were saying yesterday when we were doing show prep that we didn't even know it was there.
I had no idea they serve food.
It's at 70th and Q, dude.
Yeah. I'm going to be checking it out for sure.
You guys should be really following the Omaha Food Lovers.
I know.
Well,
I hear them.
Kidding.
Major fail on my part there.
I'm just kidding.
Funny you should say that, Stacy, because I am on Omaha Food Lovers every day. I hear it, but I've never registered where the location was, right by Funplex.
Yeah, just so many posts to keep track of. It is something that gets shared quite a bit.
I tell you what, I post a lot of Grow Omaha restaurant news on Omaha Food Lovers, and it's always amazing whenever I do. My favorite thing to do is like maybe 3 or 4 hours after I post any sort of our Grow Omaha restaurant news on Omaha Food Lovers, I see this spike in signups on our newsletter.
That's awesome.
That just shows you how many people. You got 86,000 members for crying out loud.
Yeah, the impact the group has. I've had restaurant owners tell me that they no longer have a marketing budget because the group allows them to. It's a target audience for them that they just put their stuff into the group.
Think about that.
How did you think about starting that? How did it start?
So it started in August 2019 is when we started it. And it was because I was in groups in Kansas City and Des Moines. I was in other groups in other cities. And Omaha has there's older groups than ours, but they weren't really, they weren't curated the way that we've tried to curate this group to make it, that interactive and, it's just a lot of positivity back and forth with people. And, I think the difference with this group has just been, it's not only the consumers, but it's also the business owners and, managers, employees that are, there's a lot of interaction between back and forth. Somebody sees something in another city or online and says, hey, can somebody do this? And boom. You see it, within days. Sometimes people start creating things because, if there's demand, somebody's gonna fulfill that demand.
So we'll talk about new places that Stacy has visited since he was last on the show in the next segment. But before we go to the news, I want to talk about one of my favorite subjects. That's fried chicken.
All right.
I understand you guys have been talking about fried chicken a lot lately. Let's talk about fried chicken.
Well, I think, with Church is opening a location off 168th and Maple, right?
And Trenton did that deal.
Yeah. So, and it's been a long time coming. I think it looks like it's going to be opening in October. Staffing can always be the thing. And fried chicken is one of my favorite foods. Funny enough, Sarah Baker Hansen, when she was at the World Herald, myself and my son actually participated in the fried chicken prow with her. So that was like that was like 10 years ago. That was like 10 years ago at this point. But I think it's great we're getting a new fried chicken place in Omaha, right? But I think we have to remember that we have some phenomenal places still here in Omaha. Homegrown places that offer some great fried chicken, and just a few that I would highlight are Time Out Foods,
yes.
Up on North 30th. That fried chicken, that's probably still my favorite. It's got that great crispy skin with the little cayenne pepper in the seasoning. It's always great with their crinkle cut fries. Trax, the Trax bar on South 60th, just north of Pacific. They're kind of known, I think, more so now for their wings, but I'm still probably a bigger fan of the fried chicken. That tells you how good it is.
What about Family Fare?
Family Fare, it's phenomenal, right? It's a grocery store,
it's amazing.
And everybody. It's been up to the top because we do these polls in our group. I think in 2021 it was number one in our group. It might have been this year too. A lot of people also like the Supermercado, which I think is affiliated to some degree. And they offer the spicy fried chicken at their location. So nice. It's supposed to be really good. And then a couple others. Alpine Inn.
Oh, yeah, with the raccoons.
People go for the show, but the fried chicken's great. And one that I think a lot of people don't know if you guys remember Richie's Fried
Yeah,
Chicken?
I remember
So
it.
Richie's was on
Center.
Center Street where Sunnyside's at now.
Yeah.
Well, Richie's still is around, but a lot of people don't know it. They pop up at Pop's Place, the old bar down in South Omaha,
No kidding.
on Sundays from 12 to 6. I don't know if it's every Sunday, but they have really good fried chicken, and actually they'll serve you a nice Bloody Mary for like $4 or $5 or something like that. So that's a fun little Sunday outing to go to Pop's Place for some fried chicken.
So Stacy Winters is the head of Omaha Food Lovers. And Stacy, we always like to ask you, what are some places you've tried since the last time you were on the show?
So we'll start with a few, what I would say, new places, and not necessarily places. One of them is a food truck or a food bus in this situation. So I think probably the most popular or newest place that's came into town was Izzy's Pizza Bus. So it's a pizza bus. They moved here from Las Vegas to raise their family, and they were a huge following in Las Vegas, and we were lucky enough to be where they decided to move. And they are specializing in Detroit-style pizza. So you follow their Facebook page to find out where they're at. But every Wednesday, they're at Bearded Brewer, which is a great brewery.
180th and Q.
Correct. I think Sofra Kitchen is a new one that just opened up in Midtown Crossing. I checked them out last week for brunch. I really didn't really go for the brunch food. I went for the burger, but a mushroom truffle burger was really, really good, and some home cut fries. Same people that do Sofra Creperie in the Inner Rail Food Hall. And just a few, I think probably I have two very opposites here. Best meals I think I've had in the last quarter. So I'll start with The Porch over in Council Bluffs. And it's, again, not like a high-end restaurant by any means. And I hate to say something's the best I've ever had, but I can do it with this. Their patty melt that I had at The Porch was the best I've ever had. Like, I bit into it, and I'm like, okay, like this is the best I've ever had.
Anywhere and everywhere.
I'm getting really hungry right now.
And the one thing they also offer that everybody's looking for is the best cheese curds. And in Omaha, the Omaha area, those are my favorite. They're listed on their menu as cheese balls, not cheese curds, but they're cheese curds. And their serving size is massive, where a lot of places you don't get a huge serving. Theirs is definitely enough to share. So that was a really good one. And Spezia, however you pronounce it.
I always call it Spezia.
Spezia. Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows how you pronounce it.
But we all know what we're talking about.
Spezia.
They're not new to Omaha by any means, but for some reason they had not been. I hadn't been there. I'd been there early on when they opened, but I hadn't been back for a long time. And I went and blew me away. Service was excellent. Food was excellent. We shared, when you eat with me, it's like you have to know you're going to be sharing what we order. Everybody shares what you order, so you get to try everything. But we tried their mushroom ravioli with their filet, and it was really good. The filet, I was shocked at how good their filet was. It was super, and it was, very, very reasonable. And then their gnocchi and chicken dish, whew, that's something. Somebody was in the group asking for gnocchi the other day, and that is the best gnocchi dish I've had there.
Wow.
Or I've had in Omaha. So I think those are, I got a few others. I don't know where we're at with time at this point, but El Rapone moved down to Bellevue. Their little restaurant down there is really, really good.
Venezuelan food that had been in the Switch Food Hall.
Yeah, Richard Mendoza is the owner there. He's the really nice, sweet guy. They now offer a much broader menu now, much expanded menu, and they're serving drinks and cocktails and stuff like that there as well. The Three Kids lobster truck, that was for lobster rolls. They're not cheap. I mean, they're not going to be cheap anywhere you get lobster roll. So I've seen people complain about pricing on on the lobster roll, but I'm like, I think it's $22, and theirs is spot on. It's really, really good. I would highly recommend if you want to try a lobster roll, that's where I would go try one at.
Interesting. I've heard some interesting news this week that the La Solo Mio building has now been leased. And it's going to be called the Mio, and they're going to try and keep the recipes. It sounds like fairly familiar, similar to the Solo Mios.
Yeah, that was just announced yesterday, so it was a big hot topic yesterday. A lot of people sharing that post. Looks like Lance and Sarah Brown have purchased or are leasing the building.
Former Husker.
Yeah, and they are, I think, trying to keep the recipes, somewhat similar. It sounds like that was the idea and the plan behind it. So, and interesting enough, as we were chatting offline here, there's a Puerto Rican restaurant that's going to open up across the street in their old banquet hall area. So, I think a lot of people have asked about where you can get Puerto Rican food, and to date, it's really only been this. It's been something you can get catered from certain home cooks or things like that. So it's exciting to have that business opening up too.
Wow, if you live in that neighborhood, you're well fed.
Yes, definitely. You got Dinkers nearby there too.
Which you never get tired of that.
Ever.
Hey, Stacy, we do have a couple of restaurants that people love that are going to be closing here pretty soon, and so we want to acknowledge them. Yeah,
Dario's is closing. I don't know if we've actually got an official date on Dario's yet. They, sometime in October. I went one kind of last time in the end of August, and I'm going to miss those mussels. Those were super, super good there, and their cheeseburger. I think they're known for their burger and frites. Super good. And then Rivera's is closing at the end of this month as well. I know on your newsletter, I think you guys said October 31st. So I imagine it's October 29th, which is that Saturday would be the last day. But
because you said they're closed on Saturdays and Mondays.
Sunday and Monday.
Sundays and Mondays.
Yeah, so I think the 29th would probably be their last day. And I've been hearing wait times right now are 3 to 4 hours because they don't take reservations. I forgot to mention Dario's. They said that they're basically completely booked up through the end of the month. So I don't know if you can even get in at this point.
So obviously not closing for lack of business.
No, yeah, neither of them are at this point. I think it's just I've heard some with Dario's. It's a staffing thing. It's the whole situation that I think most everybody in the industry is facing.
It's a tough world in the restaurant business these days.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.